Okay, so it'd be great just to start with some background on DAMAC, the organization, that if you like, the umbrella organization, and then we can drill down a little bit into the EDGNEX part of it. But yeah, if we can start with some background on DAMAC.
Sure, yeah. So DAMAC, it's UAE's largest private real estate developer with headquarters in Dubai. And the property business, we have been active since 2002. Now, it has grown quite exponentially over the years, and it has several segments that it operates in. So there's clearly the luxury real estate segment, in which we are very largely focused on residential part of it. We're also into hospitality part of it, data centers clearly, retail, fashion, and even capital markets. So in the group is, has a very entrepreneurial mindset. So it has always sees opportunities and diversifies into the thing that it believes to have the, a good value for us to invest into. And, we see a lot of potential in data centers, and that's where the EDGNEX fits in. So EDGNEX is a part of the DAMAC family, which was set up in 2021. And it's currently operational rather has an operating pipeline of various data centers across the Middle East, APAC, and now Europe also. So we already have operating data centers in 2 cities in Saudi Arabia, in Riyadh and also in Dammam. And we are in the various stages of development in all the other data centers.
Okay, so you've already got something of a pedigree when it comes to the data center sector, but the reason we're having the discussion today is that you have acquired some land in Spain, I think fairly near Madrid.
Yes.
As part of your expansion plans. I think you're looking to expand into Europe, so it'd be good to understand, I guess, a bit of a background to that decision and why it is you've decided to, invest there to start with. Just what you can share with us would be great.
Sure, yeah. So as I mentioned, so we currently already have, we're already in both in the Middle East as well as in the APAC market, and in Europe, this Madrid is the first announced transaction that we currently have. So Madrid is, just to give you some background why Madrid is. So outside the FLAP-D market, which essentially is the Frankfurt, London, Amsterdam, and Paris, and Dublin, outside of that market, Madrid is one of the key data centers, which has both a vibrant existing data center landscape, and also it has tremendous growth potential also. So Madrid has a very good location. It has very good connectivity, and the country, Spain as such, has a very high commitment to renewable energy. As I understand, more than 60% is already renewable energy, and that seems to be growing. There is clearly a tremendous demand over there from multiple segments, from hyperscalers, from enterprises, and also from businesses that cater to HPC and AI workloads also. So given these characteristics, it seemed like a very good place for us to invest into. And we came across this land in the Vicalvaro region in Madrid, which is it has some unique characteristics. So in Madrid, availability of committed power in the near term is quite difficult compared to many other parts of the world. So this land actually, benefits from having committed power coming in from 2 independent substations from 2 different lines. So it increases the redundancy of the power available. So it is that's pretty unique about it. Besides, obviously, the location is very good. It's a few kilometers away from the internet exchange, not far from the airport. So the location is good, but connectivity is good, but also the power is very good. So it allows us to hopefully, target delivery of the data center, at least the first phase of it, sometime in 2026 in the context of power and all the other things. So I think that's the reason we entered into Madrid. But Madrid is not the only place we're looking at. So in Spain, we are looking at we are looking at further expansion opportunities in Spain, including in Madrid and other regions of Spain, such as Barcelona and Zaragoza area. But we're also looking at outside of Spain, also in Europe, in certain key locations. Since those deals are currently under progress, I cannot name where they are, but they are in a select few cities, in a select few countries across Europe, and hopefully you will hear about them in the near future about those opportunities.
No, that's great. But it sounds like you've got serious plans to build up a portfolio of data centers across a large part of Europe. And I know that you're sort of one of your mantras, if you like, is you want to disrupt the data center market. So it'd be good to understand, how you see that, or in what ways you think that that is what you're going to do, and the benefits, if you like, that that will be bringing to your customers. What is it that you're doing differently, I guess, from from other folks in the
Sure,
market?
yeah. Yeah, sure. So data centers, as you obviously know very well, are a very, critical business, right? In the context of critical infrastructure. So what we aim to do is basically we aim to be agile and to be able to, rigorously meet the demand effectively. So we're not just building any world-class data centers, but what we are trying to create essentially is like, hyper-connected digital hubs, which are highly secure facilities and which provide good connectivity to customers also. And in addition to the usual things such as, high uptime and good certifications and the, tier 3 certifications and all that stuff, we're also, very committed to innovative and sustainable practices, hopefully be environmentally responsible in the way in which we design the data centers, whether it is, something as simple as the kind of chillers you use, the kind of generators you use, the kind of fuels they use. Uh, Design is a very important critical part of it in terms of what environmental footprint we can have. So it's a very, given that we are relatively new entrant, it allows us to come with a clean slate, use the latest technologies, the latest current engineering technologies and design practices, rather than trying to retrofit into what's already there. So we are quite fortunate in that sense that we can start with a clean slate and use the latest technologies. And we have a very large in-house team, technical team who are employees of the MAP. But obviously, we in every region we operate in, not just Europe, but Middle East and also APAC region. Also, we work with the best consultants, whether they be design consultants or other consultants that as relevant. We work with them to get the best technology, which provides us, to be more environmentally responsible also. So I think while very clearly, customers are very demanding, and you have to have always the right kind of delivery in terms of output and security and safety and uh, uh, uptime and all that stuff, but we try to do that without compromising that. We try to also be environmentally responsible the best way that we can do it.
And in terms of the expansion plans, are you primarily looking to acquire land and then build your own data center, you infrastructure, or are you going to look to acquire existing organizations and or partner with folks? Just be good to understand,
Yeah,
how
so
you're looking to
sure.
expand.
Yeah. Again, we what distinguishes the mark, because it's a family-owned organization, is that we can be nimble-minded and nimble in terms of how we approach things and do, wherever we see the best opportunities are. So we clearly are looking at brand new, such as the one that we are looking in Madrid, where you find a greenfield opportunity and start from scratch. That's something we're doing. But we're also on our own, obviously, but we're also working in joint venture partnerships also. So, for example, there are at least two publicly announced joint venture partnerships that I can speak about. There is one joint venture that DAMAC has with Vodafone, where it's building a 100 billion data center in Turkey, in Izmir. That's one example of a joint venture. Another one is that we recently announced is in Thailand, a joint venture of DAMAC and a local technology company called Proin. That's another something that we're doing joint venture in. But in addition to both, doing joint venture or independently from greenfield, we're always evaluating and open to acquiring existing data center or an existing platform, as long as there is some value add angle to it. The value add could either be that there's more expansion capacity, or could be something else in terms of what we could do with the customers or something else. As long as we see there is something more we can do with what we're acquiring, we are always actively evaluating platforms and existing data centers also.
Okay, and you mentioned just then sustainability is obviously important to the organization, and that there are a lot of sort of topics at the moment that the industry is grappling with, sustainability being one of them. I think you mentioned AI briefly as well. Clearly, the AI explosion is happening. We've got things like, I suppose, the supply chain. There've been challenges, shall we say, exacerbated by the pandemic. Lack of power, as I'm sure you're aware, when you're looking for places to build data centers. Just your thoughts, I suppose, and even the skills, skills is potentially just your thoughts as to some of those challenges and
Sure.
whether you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
turn them into opportunities. What is it that you think is particularly
Sure.
difficult to address, or just ways in which you yourselves are addressing some of those challenges?
Sure. I mean, so I think sustainability is a very key topic for sure, and for obvious reasons. And the future of data center, has to be in the context of sustainable growth very clearly. So you have to balance both at the same time. You have to balance, increasing customer demand, which you have to clearly, satisfy in the best way possible in a secure way. But also we have to be, at least from the DAMAC's point of view, we are committed to environmental social stewardship also. So a few things that we use advanced AI, for example, and machine learning to be able to even refine the facility operations and improve the energy efficiency, and also consequently reduce the emissions also. That's something we do. As I mentioned earlier, we use strong design techniques which can help mitigate some of the environmental impacts of data centers. So we look at, among other things, we look at PUE, which is the power usage effectiveness. We look at WUE, which is the water usage effectiveness, carbon usage effectiveness. We look at all those aspects of it, and the way in which you design the data center can have a very big impact on many of these, considerations. And then, it obviously also depends partly upon where the data center is located. So, you can, depending on certain places and the availability of power in the grid, you can try to use sometimes solar power, you can use wind power, you can use, geothermal, hydropower. All those things are always an option also. So, all the mixture of all those things with the right design technique can help, and with working with the right consultants, it can help you mitigate many of those aspects of it. But very clearly, in the end, the customers they have certain expectations. So those have to always be met, and while at the same time trying to be environmentally responsible and try to marry both the things at the same time. I mean, the only way to eliminate all this thing essentially would be for people to stop using digital thing. So, in the context of demand, which needs to be satisfied, the best thing is to have it a proper place, a secure way, where doing it in that manner helps mitigate the environmental consequences better than what the alternatives might be.
Oh, that's good. And in terms of, you said obviously you can't give us specifics of other potential data center, sites you've got, but just be good to maybe, as we finished, understand a little bit about the roadmap over the next 12, 18 months. You say you've got one side of Madrid, you're looking at Spain as well. I mean, if we were to have this conversation, which hopefully we will, at some stage in the future, say in another year's time, can you at least indicate how many data centers you might hope to be on the horizon, or just anything you can share with us?
Sure. So currently, of our announced data centers across APAC and Middle East and Europe, we have roughly 500 plus excess of 500 megawatts of pipeline across all these places, Madrid being a part of the number. Now, in terms of what I personally am looking, so I'm responsible for all the investment efforts of DAMAC for data centers in Europe. And also there are, investment teams looking at APAC and Middle East also. So from what I know, in terms of what I'm looking at and what my colleagues are looking at, I can see that increase quite significantly over the next, as you mentioned, 12 to 18 months, quite significantly. I can see that increasing across all those three markets, across Middle East, across APAC, and also across Europe. So I see that happening, and this increase could happen by increase in the data center within the markets we already are in, but also by newer markets. So where are we currently in? I'll name a few. So in APAC, for example, we are in Indonesia. We have announced. I'm talking announcing right now. So Indonesia, we have announced. For example, Thailand, we have announced. Saudi Arabia, we have operating data centers. We have announced in Turkey. We're currently announced in Spain. So I can see that both the cities and the countries that we currently are in will expand, and within these countries and cities also it will expand. And so yeah, it's going to be significantly more than what we currently are. Hopefully, obviously, we can't predict anything, but we hope it will be.
No, that's great. I mean, it's been lovely to chat, and thank you for sharing the plans as you can in terms of what's going on within Europe and further field, and thoughts on the industry. So Tarun, really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Phil. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Bye.